Hello, we're live again. Welcome, Plant Life people. How are you? I am lucky because today I have a cameraman working for me who's going to hold the camera, and it's going to be a better shot today, so it's really awesome. I hope where you are it is not raining like it is here today. But on days like this, it's nice to have some comfort food, and today I'm going to be doing a dessert. So I'm super excited about that because I haven't done dessert in a long time. And sometimes you just need to have dessert for dinner, or after dinner, or before dinner, or whenever you want to eat it. And this one's super healthy, so it's something that you can eat anytime, even for breakfast if you want. So today we are making a chocolate mousse pudding, and it's from a blog called The Full Helping. They have amazing recipes if you ever want to check it out. I'll put a link in the description box below when I edit this video. So again, it's a chocolate creamy, delicious, luxurious, rich chocolate pudding. And I haven't made anything like this in a long time, and I made it the other night for me and my cameraman. And it was so rich. I was super surprised at how rich it was, and it was so filling that we couldn't even eat the sort of relatively small portion that I made for each of us. So I really like the recipe for that reason. So for this recipe, and I'll say hello to everyone in the chat, you're going to need very few ingredients. So one of the things you're going to need is silken tofu. So that's what it usually looks like. And it'll say soft or silken. This is a small version, so what I've used is actually the larger version, which is about 16 ounces, but I just wanted to show you what the package looked like, soft tofu. But you want to do the large one. So the recipe that I'm going to show you is a half portion of this, of the large one. And then you're also going to need some chocolate chips. These are dark chocolate or semi-sweet chunks, but any kind of chocolate chip will work. Or if you have just a chocolate bar that you can chop up, anything works. And then you're going to need cocoa powder, and then your tofu, and what am I forgetting? Maple syrup. So that's all you're going to need. Super easy ingredients. And a blender. So for the blender, you can either use a mini food processor for just making a small portion, or you can use a bullet blender like this, whatever you've got. So let's put this together now. So this is what the tofu looks like out of the container, which is not super appealing. And you'll notice you can't really press soft tofu, but you want to leave your tofu out in a bowl to get up to room temperature, and you'll notice that the liquid will come out of it on its own. So what you want to do is let that liquid get out of the tofu, and then we're going to drain it in the sink here just real quick. But definitely let it come to room temperature. You don't want to leave it cold for this recipe. And the reason why is our next step that we're going to do is we're going to be melting our chocolate chips. And you don't want to put the warm chocolate chips into the really cold tofu because the melted chocolate chips will bind up. So today I'm using, this is a brand called Enjoy Life. So that's pretty common in most grocery stores now here in Ontario, my part of Canada. And I've been trying to be a little more conscious with the chocolate that we buy because there's actually a lot of child labor issues with a lot of commercial chocolate. So if you're not eating a ton of chocolate chips, it's nice to spend the extra money and get something that's certified. So that's what I'm using. Another brand that you can find really common is Camino, and they're really great. Or you can find, if you're making just a small recipe, get a certified chocolate bar, and then this is probably a little bit cheaper than a full bag of chocolate. So we're going to do about 1/4 cup. Oops, that's more than 1/4 cup. Oh well, it's more than 1/4 cup. And what you want to do is you either want to melt this on a double boiler, which is a pot of boiling water with a glass bowl on top, and that will melt it. Or you can do it in the microwave. So we're going to do it in the microwave, even though it's loud. You want to do it at 30-second intervals. And with this amount of chocolate, you probably only have to do that a couple of times. So sorry that it's loud, but we're going to get this melted. So 30 seconds. And then we're going to end up putting everything in the blender together. Once that's melted, we're going to let it cool down a bit. And then you want to blend it a lot until everything is smooth together, and it really doesn't take much time even once you're in the blender. Again, you can use a bullet blender, or if you have a like a smoothie blender, that'll work because it's all soft ingredients. So let's see if we're done here. So then you'll notice it'll start, you can see they're getting glossy, it'll start melting right away. So I think when I did this before, it took like two or three tries. It's not very classy to be making something in a microwave on a cooking demo, but you want to make something that's easy, use your microwave. It's not a sin in the kitchen, in my books anyway. And then once we make the pudding, it's going to end up in some containers and it's going to go in the fridge for a little while. But again, I love fast recipes and it doesn't actually need to go in the fridge that long, but it's great if you can make it the night before. And let's see, so we're almost there actually. I'll show you guys. So we're there, so it only took 2 times. You just want to make sure that it gets melty, and you can see the chunks. There's still chunks in there, but if you just mix it around, it's warm enough to melt it down. So that's it. It only took two sessions of 30 seconds. And now we get to do the fun part. We're going to blend it up. So again, we have our room temperature tofu that we drained our water out of, and we're just going to chunk it in there. It's nice. It's good to do it with your hands because it feels funky. But then you also, if there's any extra water in the bottom of the bowl, you don't have to deal with that. It is super gloopy and messy. So that goes in there. We're going to let that cool down till the end, but we want to do some maple syrup. So this is, we're going to do 1/8 of a cup, which is this guy here. So again, I'm doing half a pack of tofu. If you want to make more, just double the recipe. So again, this is 1/8 of a cup for our half recipe. And that's going to go in there. And sometimes I just rest my measuring cup on the edge because the syrup can leak out of it. And then we want our cocoa powder. So any kind of cocoa powder is good. If you want it super rich, you can use the dark red cocoa powder that you can get. So we're going to do, my measuring cup fell in. So we're going to do 1.5 tablespoons of the cocoa powder. This I got at the Bulk Barn, but I'm reusing this fries container because it's nice. So there we've got that. Tofu, maple syrup, cocoa powder. We are going to put a little bit of salt because it really will amp up the flavors. But you don't need much, just basically like a pinch of salt. And then what we're going to do is we're going to blend it up a little bit first before we put our melted chocolate in, just to make sure that everything blends properly. We're going to puree that. So you want to puree it just until most of the white chunks from the tofu are gone. And then we're going to dump in our melted chocolate, which I could just eat this out of the bowl like this. So even if this is a little bit warm when you put it in, the worst thing that's going to happen is you might have a little bit of specks of chocolate that got hardened in the cold tofu. It's not a big deal, but if you're preparing this anyway, it's good to just let the tofu sit out so you can get the water out of it. And then you have to lick the spoon always. And then we're going to blend that up. So this is where you want to make sure that you're watching the side of it so that you can see the chocolate blending it in. Super messy and loud. That should, yep. So we've got all that chocolate blended in there pretty good. There's a bit on the top, but we'll just mix it in. It splashes everywhere. So that's it for the blending. And then depending on how you want to serve it, you could put it all in one bowl. If you want to kind of serve it family style, that people can put it on their own. Or you can use little ramekins. like this if you want to make sort of smaller portions, or if you have like just a nice water glass thing, you can use that. So we're going to pour that in and hopefully not get chocolate everywhere. So here we go. And I'm licking the spoon because it's just me and Frank that are going to eat it. So that's the consistency you want. And you could probably eat it just like that as a pudding. But it's nice to get it in these ramekins. I'll try to turn myself around here so you can see the consistency. And then we'll put some in this nice glass dish. The glass dishes are nice if you want to layer it. So what you could do is make more of like a parfait where you put some chocolate in and then put some toppings on and then put more chocolate on top. That would be also really fancy. But I am not doing that today. So you put that all in there. And you lick up all the spots that you got wet. And then what you want to do is just shake it to give it a flat surface. You don't have to shake it. You can leave it however you like. It's already quite thick. And then you want to put those in the fridge at least for like an hour maybe. If not overnight, however long you want. But you want it in the fridge for a little bit so that it stiffens up. And then they become, I'm not going to dip it upside down because I think that's going to be a disaster, but they become nice and thick in the fridge. So then we want to do toppings. So I first thought that we were going to do some fruit toppings, but I didn't have any fruit that I liked. So you could cut up fresh fruit and put it on top. You could cook down some frozen strawberries with a little bit of vanilla extract and make a puree to put on top. You can put healthy stuff like hemp seeds on or chia seeds, whatever you want to do if you want to be super healthy. But I'm not going healthy today. So we're going to put on some of our chocolate chips, or chocolate chunks, I should say. And then the other thing that I saw that I had was I have a bag of vegan marshmallows, which is from Sweets from Your Earth. Sweets from the Earth. They're a dessert company. You can see the logo there. They usually make desserts, but they sell bulk packages of their toppings and their ingredients, and they have vegan marshmallows. So good. So just so you know, if you're thinking, why aren't marshmallows vegan? So regular marshmallows actually use gelatin, which is basically the bones and ligaments from animals boiled down into a gel. And that is what's in marshmallows that is not vegan. And it's also in a lot of candy. So it's nice when you can find your old favorite stuff vegan. So I'm just going to use some scissors and we're going to cut a few pieces, try to make it look fancy and also not stick to your finger or your scissors. Do your best. You could also just throw the whole marshmallow on there, whatever you want. So we got our little pile, and this one is going in my mouth because it's sticking. And then I also found some little sprinkles, little bone sprinkles. Bone sprinkles, not boner sprinkles. And then I'm going to put those on top. So that's kind of cute. If you're into skeletons, or these kind of look like dog bones, and you want to make it look super fancy. So again, if you made a full recipe, you would have pretty much 6 decent servings that you could serve guests when you can have guests again, or just leave these in the fridge for yourself. Another really good idea, as I chew my marshmallow, is to put them in little mason jars, and then you can put the lid on and you can bring that over to someone's house and give them a nice dessert, or take it in your lunch or whatever you want to do. But now, even though I already licked the spoon, we're going to do the taste test. So I have my spoon. I think this one looks bigger, so I'm going to taste test this one. So there we have our super cute and fancy parfait. And who's suggesting putting everything bagel mix on top? That is disgusting. We're not doing that. But you could also, there's a lot of recipes I've seen where you can make sort of a lemony flavor one instead of chocolate. And then you could probably put some of the sesame seeds on top of that, but maybe not the garlic and the onion bits. Okay, enough talking. So I want to get some marshmallow, some chocolate, some sprinkles. Ooh, see if we can focus in on that. Look at that. It is pretty thick. Amazing. I'm so excited. It is crazy how rich that is with the tofu. And I think it's probably because it has a lot of protein. So this is something that you can eat totally guilt-free. And it just, like, I can't believe how much it satisfies that dessert, like rich dessert flavor, and it's just tofu. So good. Now have a taste test. Let's give our cameraman some. Good stuff. I always have to have a taste test. So that is it. That is the demo. I can't see what time we made. 16 minutes. Probably would have been less if I talked less. Super easy dessert. Super easy to make ahead. Super easy to pack up and take on your lunch. It's healthy, cheap, vegan, which is what the whole channel is all about. So thanks again so much for joining me. I love seeing everyone log in and chat. And even if you're here and you're not chatting, I love you too. So if you want to help me out, please like this video, share it if you can. And if you have the time, you can really help me with the YouTube algorithm by staying after this video and watching any other video. It'll help show YouTube that my channel is awesome. So thank you. That is it. Enjoy your week. Stay dry if it's raining, and stay safe. Bye.